Ray McGovern, thank you so much for your patience, too. Sorry, we're kind of getting everybody on a little bit later than we thought we would.
Glad to be with you, Ian. I think the key factor here is there are a whole host of unanswered questions having to do with 9/11. Frankly, I am very, very bothered by some of the more egregious testimony. Let me take 1 minute just to give you an example. The Secretary of Transportation is down in the bunker with Cheney, okay? About 10 minutes before whatever hits the Pentagon. While he's there, he reports that a young man comes in and says, Mr. Vice President, 50 miles out now, same instructions? Vice President, yes, same instructions. A little while later, Mr. Vice President, 30 miles out now, same instructions? Yes, same instructions. A little while later, 10 miles out now, Mr. Vice President, same. Did anyone change the instruction? Of course, the same instruction. 10 minutes later, something hits the Pentagon. Now, he testified to that before the commission there, the Keene-Hamilton Commission, and it's on videotape. And Hamilton sort of asked him a leading question. He said, well, which plane was that? Hoping he would say the one in Pennsylvania. But Mineta says, the one that hit the Pentagon. Now, I had a chance to ask Mineta one-on-one about a year ago. I said, Secretary Mineta, who is that young man? He said, I don't know. I said, well, did he have a uniform on? No, he didn't have a uniform on. I said, well, you could really help dispel all these conspiracies if you just tell, how you figure that out, that he asked the vice president whether the same instructions. He says, well, we were thinking about shoot-down instructions in Pennsylvania. And I said, no, Mr. Secretary, we're talking about the one that went into the Pentagon. The Pennsylvania was almost an hour later. And it was almost as though a veil came over his eyes, Ian. And he said all he could say was Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania after that. And, that hardly reassured me that he's interested in getting to the bottom. I said, did you ever inquire as to who that young man was? No, I never did. So this is just one example that bothers me greatly. And, you're in danger of being accused of being a conspiracy buff or something like that, but that's something that could be answered with a legitimate attempt to find the answers, and nobody has taken the trouble to do that, and it bothers me greatly.
That's the most fascinating thing I've heard in about a year. That's amazing. I'd sleep for a couple of days mulling that over, that possibility that Dick Cheney could have been involved with a plane approaching Washington that was not being stopped, that was not being shot down. I mean, that they suspected might be involved in this, and they didn't do anything about it.
And having issued stand-down instructions, which could have been reversed after this young man kept asking whether he wanted to reverse them. So, Mineta's business about shoot-down instructions, well, there was a lot of uncertainty about that, too, specifically with respect to the plane in Pennsylvania almost an hour later. But the Pentagon, as you already pointed out, is heavily fortified with all manner of missiles from the roof and everywhere else. For some reason, they didn't work that day, and you don't have to be a conspirator to say, well, how does that parse? Who has asked Dick Cheney? And, the fact that Dick Cheney wouldn't testify before the 9/11 Commission unless it was he and Bush together, what does that tell you? What does that tell you?